In the spring of 2008, in a small storefront on Market Street in Inglewood, California, a woman in her late 50s stood behind a counter that smelled of cumin and roasted tomato. She was not well. Her cholesterol was high. Her joints ached during the lunch rush. She had been told she would carry that body for the rest of her life. That woman owned the restaurant. Her name was Babette Davis. She was 60 years old. Today she is past 70. The footage of her training her shoulders in a sleeveless tee, the magazine spreads, and the documentaries that keep returning to her kitchen all show the same body. Lean, strong, and without the medications she once expected to take. She did one thing. She built her life around plants. And then she built a daily protocol so simple you can start the first piece of it tonight. In 2008, Babette and her husband Ramses opened a small plant-based restaurant called Stuff I Eat. She was not a chef by training. She was a former model who had cooked for her family for 30 years on the standard American plate. The restaurant was the moment she decided the food on her own counter would change. She moved her household toward whole foods, raw vegetables, sprouted legumes, and fresh juices. Her energy returned within weeks. Her skin cleared, the joints quieted, her body fat dropped. By her mid-60s, customers walking in kept asking the same question. They thought she was the daughter of the woman who owned the place. She would smile and say, "No." In 2015, a fitness photographer caught her in the gym. The photo went around the internet. A woman past 65 in a sports bra doing weighted dips with the physique of an athlete in her 30s. She kept opening the restaurant at 5:30 in the morning, kept training 4 days a week, kept saying the same thing in every interview. It is the food. You are watching this because something in that story landed. Maybe you are 65 and the afternoons feel longer than they used to. Maybe your weight has not moved in 2 years, no matter what you cut. Maybe you stood up from a chair this morning and your knees made a sound your mother's knees used to make. The cause has a name. The fix has a shape. The shape is the anti-bowl, and tomorrow morning you start it. Here is the action. You are going to make one bowl tomorrow at lunch. The architecture is the architecture Babette has eaten on most days for nearly 20 years. A bed of leafy greens, a scoop of cooked or sprouted legumes, a handful of raw vegetables in bright color, a small portion of cooked starch, a sweet potato, a half cup of brown rice, a wedge of winter squash, a squeeze of citrus, and a spoon of seeds or nuts. No oil added to the bowl itself. That is the entire start. Pause this video. Walk to your kitchen. Open whatever you keep your beans in. Open the freezer. Look for greens. Look for one sweet potato. Do you have those 4 things in the house right now? Greens, a cooked or canned legume, a sweet potato or brown rice, a lemon. 3 out of 4 counts. If the answer is no, that is your only shopping this week. A bag of spinach, a can of black beans or chickpeas with no oil added, 1 sweet potato, and 1 lemon. Less than $7. The protocol does not require a specialty store. The protocol does not require a juicer. Now, why this body? Why this protocol? Why now? The body past 60 has been doing something quietly for years. The cells that respond to insulin, the muscle cells, the liver cells, have been filling slowly with droplets of fat. Not the visible fat on the hips, but the fat inside the muscle fiber itself. Researchers call it intramicellular lipid. When that fat builds inside the cell, the signal from insulin gets muffled. Glucose stays in the blood longer. The pancreas pushes harder. The cells push back harder. The whole system tightens. Energy drops. The afternoon crash arrives. The waist thickens. The fasting glucose creeps up 1 or 2 points a year, and the doctor says, "We are watching it." The frame underneath is this. Oil and animal fat eaten daily for 40 years has been quietly storing itself inside cells that were never meant to hold it. The bowl does the opposite. Whole food plants eaten in volume with no added oil give the cell what it can clear: fiber, water, resistant starch, and polyphenols. The cell empties. The signal returns. The energy returns. This is not theory. The Adventist Health Study 2 out of Loma Linda University tracked 96,000 people for over a decade and found that those eating a vegan pattern had roughly half the rate of type 2 diabetes of those eating standard. The lifestyle heart trial published by Dr. Dean Ornish in 1990 in The Lancet showed coronary arteries actually reversing in patients eating an oil-free plant-based plate, not slowing, reversing. Now the false culprit. You have been told the reason your weight will not move past 60 is that your metabolism slowed, the thyroid, or the hormones. You have been told to eat less, eat smaller, or eat fewer carbohydrates. The populations on this planet with the lowest rates of type 2 diabetes, the lowest rates of heart disease, and the longest disability-free lifespans eat more carbohydrate than you do. The Okinawans before 1965 ran on roughly 70% of their calories from sweet potato. The Loma Linda Adventists shredded cabbage works. A small head runs less than $2 and gives you 4 bowls. Bothered by nightshades? Skip the tomato, substitute cucumber, jicama, raw zucchini, or fennel. The acid still comes from lemon. On metformin, on statins, on blood pressure medication? Keep taking it on the schedule your doctor gave you. Do not change a single pill on your own. What you change is the food. The doctor decides when the medication comes off. The food does the work. The doctor decides the medication. That is the rule in every reputable plant-based reversal program, from Ornish to Esselstyn to the Dr. McDougall 10-day live-in. Most women who start this stop at one specific point, not week 1, not week 2. Wednesday of week 1. Monday and Tuesday have momentum from the weekend decision. By Wednesday afternoon, the energy of the new thing is worn off. The fridge is not quite restocked. The bowl does not make itself. The fix is upstream. The fix is Sunday. Sunday afternoon, you cook 1 pot of beans. You roast 2 sweet potatoes. You wash the greens and put them in a dry container with a paper towel. The bowl on Wednesday already exists in the fridge by Sunday night. You are just assembling it. Set the jar where your hand reaches first. Set the bowl where your eye lands when you open the door. Back to Babette. She was 60 in 2008. She had carried the body of a woman who modeled in the 70s and then lived an American life for 30 years. She had been told by her own doctor that the numbers would not move much, that she should consider medication. She did not take the medication. She moved into the restaurant kitchen instead. She started eating raw and high-raw plant foods 6 days a week. The change came within months. The cholesterol dropped, the waist dropped, the energy came up. She added weight training in her 60s, not before, and the muscle came on like she was new to her own body. By the time the first photographs went viral, she was 67. By the time the plant-based news crew followed her through a morning prep, she was 71 and lifting weights that women in her gym, 30 years younger, were not lifting. She told the press something that stuck. The food does not just feed the body, it feeds the body's decisions about itself. When the food is clean, the body decides cleaner things. She trains 4 days a week. She walks. She sleeps 8 hours. She is in the kitchen by 7 hours. Is she special? Yes and no. Yes, she has discipline most people do not have. No, the food protocol she follows is not exotic. It is leafy greens, cooked legumes, whole grains, sweet potato, fresh fruit, raw vegetables, seeds, herbs, lemon, and garlic. That is the entire grocery list. Compliance disclaimer, fully, she has lived this protocol under the guidance of her own care team. Anyone reversing markers, cholesterol, blood pressure, fasting glucose, A1C, should do that work alongside the doctor who manages those numbers. The food does the work. The doctor decides the medication. Notice your energy at 3 this afternoon. Notice the dip. Notice whether your eyelids feel heavy. That is your before baseline. Write it down on paper. Energy at 3 p.m., today's date, a number from 1 to 10, 2 weeks from now with the bowl in place at lunch, write the number again. The body will tell you. Now for those who want the next layer, optional only if the lunch bowl is steady for 1 week. Breakfast, same architecture. 1 cup of cooked steel-cut oats at the bottom, a scoop of fresh berries or sliced banana on top, a spoon of ground flaxseed, a splash of unsweetened plant milk, no sugar, no syrup. The oat fruit seed bowl is the breakfast Babette and Ramsey's eat most mornings before the restaurant opens. It runs about $3. It holds the body until 2 hours in the afternoon without a crash. Dinner, a bowl of vegetable bean soup, a slice of whole grain bread, a side of steamed greens. Make a big pot Sunday, eat from it Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, make a stew. Friday, eat the leftovers. Saturday, eat fresh. Sunday, cook again. The week makes itself. The body that has run on plants for 3 weeks is a different body than the one you start with. The skin shifts, the waist shifts, the numbers your doctor measures shift. The cravings, the hardest part, shift slowest. Give it 3 weeks. Salt and oil and sugar are real chemical drivers, and the body needs that long to recalibrate. Until then, keep the bowl. A few honest things, because this channel does not promise what it cannot deliver. The body past 70 does not respond as quickly as the body at 40. The food is the same. The mechanism is the same. The pace is slower. The first changes you may notice are not weight. They are sleep, energy, joint comfort, and digestion. The weight comes later. The blood markers, depending on how long you have carried them, may move in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Babette's transformation took years. She is 20 years in and still in the gym 4 days a week. This is a long game. There is one more piece and it matters. The kitchen itself. Not the food, the room. The most important thing Babette did was the layout of her own home kitchen. The blender on the counter, not in the cabinet. The cutting board on the counter, not in the drawer. The bowl of citrus on the table, not in a fridge bin. The greens by Hope, by the bowl. Pause this video, walk to your kitchen, look at what is on the shelves. Think on the door, sleep on it, wake up. If this story of transformation has changed the way you look at the potential of your own health, please subscribe and like this video. We are uncovering the history of wellness that has been hidden for too long. Let's plant the seeds for a stronger future together. Your next breakthrough is waiting to be discovered.